Oh, say, can you hear?
Yet another red light.
Well, I'm gonna spill all
The secrets you're holding
About the spaceships up there and the aliens down here and all history,
which is totally fake.
Aliens began to show up on me a lot inside the restaurants. Sometimes they would come into the gym, pull up next to me on the road, look over at me, say hi to me. So I started researching and came across InfoWars, stuff about rogue ET extraterrestrials, reptilians work, I mean the whole shebang. I kept hearing an engineered crash going down, crash to weaken and take down the American people. I was listening to Art Bell's version, Steve Quayle's version, InfoWars version, this computer, Renz.com, everything and all the crap. It's just the compelling evidence something was going on. But it all made sense. It was really what was going on. There is a cigar store by Kirby and Westheimer called Downing Street, and there's a Tacro Milagro right beside it. I saw a short blonde-haired lady that looked very athletic, attractive, that looked similar to a lot of women around town. She's looking at me, and then she looked at me and she went like this and waved to me like that. So I looked at her. This woman right here is sitting upon me. Okay, let me just go talk to her. She goes, take a seat, have a seat. Just out of freaking nowhere, she just looks at me. She goes like this. She goes, we feel that you should be getting into politics. So tell me about Iran. What's going on inside the Middle East about Iran? And what do you think we should do about Iran to solve the problem inside Iran? And I looked at her, I said, Iran? She goes, the Bush family. They are involved inside the government, and they are involved inside the military, and they are involved in many things. Anyone getting into politics and getting into the government has to go through them and has to meet up with them before you can go out there and do anything. So I looked at her and I said to her, and based on what I have heard about these people, I plan on staying clear the frickin' hell away from them. And in fact, if they wanted to meet me, I'd probably run like hell. Okay? And anyone hearing me say this would probably agree. Okay? So she looked at me and I said to her right here, I said, she goes, tell me, how do we solve the problem? I said, okay, I think that we need to open up dialogue with the Iranians. I think that we should invite the new president to come to the United States and invite them for talks, open trade with them and buy their oil, and begin the process of trade to solve all the problems. And I believe that solving all the problems in the Middle East starts with Iran, because they are more powerful. And if you can solve and work things out with Iran, you will work things out with the rest of the Middle East will have to follow on. And she looks at me, she says to me, very good. So she gets up and she looks at me, she goes, come here, give me a hug. So she gives me a hug and she kisses me right on my lip, and I'm looking into her eyes. And she goes, you are us and we are you. You need to understand that. You are us and we are the same. And I go, what do you mean by that? She goes, you'll make sense of it soon. You are us and we are you. So I was surfing around YouTube looking for alien videos and crap like that on YouTube in my office back in 2009, and I came across this lady by the name of Carrie Cassidy. And I had no idea how powerful this woman was going to get to a point where when the extraterrestrials mentioned her name, this is when I knew how important Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot was, David Wilcock, when her name was brought up in a conversation. This blew my freaking mind. I'll just tell you to, and Carrie, if you're listening to this, right, I'll tell you this much right here, is that you know this already, but The extraterrestrials, they look at you as someone very, very extremely important, very, very big in the UFO community, in the alien contactee and whistleblower community, because they rely on you to get information out, because you're having a major impact. And she really is having, she's a great, Carrie is a type of person that knows how to look at you and get information and make you talk and extract and take that stuff and get the real crazy crap that I'm talking about here out in the public. You all, a lot of people have no earthly idea what the heck is going on inside this country. You know all those guys, Gaia, Jay Widener, Corey Good, David Wilcock, Kerry Cassidy, all these guys and all these secret space program guys that were a part of the secret space program. Let me just tell you all something right here you need to know. I've been paying attention to it, and all these people, they are telling the truth. It's all true. There is a secret space program. Everything that David Wilcock is saying is true. Kerry Cassidy, all these people that they're interviewing, they are 100% on the money. The contact is going on. They have sources. It is all real. Okay? I can tell you. Extraterrestrials are walking around our cities. There's over 1,000 of them right here inside our city. Contact has begun, not just happening with me. There is about 24 other humans like me in the city right now having face-to-face contact with these ETs.
Another UFON member from here in town, that he was at one of our meetings, and there was probably, say, 30 or 40 people there that night. One of the other members that he saw was apparently a reptilian or a dragon type face, and he just happened to be looking across the room toward this person, and it's kind of like their cloaking device or their cover dropped for a split second, and all of a sudden he could see this reptilian like face. And when she saw him looking at her, she had a very disturbed expression on her face, like she realized that she had been found out and he had seen her. And she turned around and looked the other way again, and then all of a sudden she went back to normal, and it was just this woman sitting there. Another time he was walking down a sidewalk in a normal downtown area. He saw this person coming toward him that also had a dragon-like reptilian face structure with a long reptilian alligator-type nose. And when this person's eyes met his and realized that he could see him for what he was, this person freaked out and turned and started running away from him in the opposite direction as fast as he could run. And Morris just stood there dumbfounded, not knowing what had just happened.
Okay, so it was around sometime around March or February. This guy by the name of Vincent Sparacito, who's Jim Sparks that he goes by, was talking to George Norrie about some type of alien abductions that was going on with him. And he was discussing this whole thing that he had 90% recollection. I heard the guy was coming into town sometime in April. I think I saw it on the internet somewhere on his website. Yeah, I think it was his website that he was coming to town. So I said, okay, let me go check this guy out. I want to come to this meeting. So I go out there now, and I met up at ARE Center. When I got there, I think there were probably around 200 more people there. So right as I got into the parking lot, the implant that the ETs had put in my ear, I told you about this implant here earlier, it started clicking, doing something, and I started detecting alien presence inside the parking lot around the area, which I found a little unusual, because I knew that anytime the ETs were about to show up on me publicly, the implant would start clicking. It gives off these little shocks in my ears right up here, click, click, and I can literally hear it. It does something, and there are these different variations for different types of threats or different types of situations, all that, and I can pretty much tell what would happen next. So I wanted to talk to Jim, and I didn't get a chance, and everybody was going into the rooms, and I saw Jim Sparks look at me and kind of went like this for a second, like blinked his eye at me for a second, saying, look, I need to talk to you for a second. So he waited, and everybody walked by. I'd actually seen Fred Woods in the meeting, and another gentleman that I'll talk about later on. So Jim was outside and looked at me, and I said, and he looks at me and goes, how's it going? And I looked at him and said, you know, don't you? He looks at me and goes, they just told me about you. So he kind of pointed up for a second. I said, they told you about me? I said, Jim, do they always show up in restaurants? They're always showing up in restaurants. He goes, that's a trip. They do the same thing to me.
Say, can you finally
Start telling us the truth.
Protect our civil liberties and
all war?